The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Nikki Newman shared an enjoyable meal with Jack Abbott that turned dangerous with their verbal agreement. Both want their families to achieve peace, and their plans might create the opposite. Jack asked Nikki if she would help him to support his son's and her granddaughter's relationship. Kyle Abbott's and Claire Newman's deepening connection leads to an engagement offer this calendar year. Victor Newman is determined to prevent Claire from being involved with Kyle. The mustache's suspiciously confident claims about the Abbott family being destined to collapse are linked to his warning. Viewers know that Victor has Michael Baldwin working to unearth whatever he can about Abbott. Victor remains set on destroying Jack, Diane Jenkins Abbott, and Kyle. Victor's latest grudge is tied to Jack's reckless use of illicit drugs as part of a successful attempt to shock Nikki out of her fall off the alcohol wagon. Victor intends to use Michael's intelligence report to target Abbott for a takedown. However, it feels like the newly introduced character, Aristotle Dumas, will play a role in the coming conflict. He's working with Billy Abbott, and the effect of that connection is hard to predict. It's possible that Billy is being used and that Aristotle could try to take control of Abbott. Then again, the mysterious business titan might be using Billy to attack Victor, or both points of speculation could prove true. Jack's overture to Nikki furthered the belief he's held in recent years. The general truce he reached with Victor held until last year, when Jack's purposeful use of pills enraged Victor. Braden's character believed that Nikki nearly died because of Jack's impulsive behavior. That was never true, but neither Jack nor Nikki had ever been able to convince him otherwise. So Jack is trying to keep himself from engaging with Victor. Instead, he wants to focus on creating what could be another marriage between the families. However, Jack will be forced to respond to his longtime nemesis if Victor follows through and attacks the Abbott family business or takes it over. Nikki was angered when Victor told her she would be replaced by Adam Newman at Newman Media. She considered that an insult until her beloved husband told her his master plan. Acquiring Chancellor from Jill Abbott was brilliant. Victor then installed Nikki as its head, acknowledging that they knowingly deceived Lily Winters into thinking she would run that show. Thomas Scott's character knows her husband better than anyone, including Jack. She and Bergman's character are willing themselves to believe that their alliance in favor of Kyle and Claire will prevent Victor from winning. That hope feels far-fetched. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Michael Baldwin's next job will send shockwaves. Victor Newman will deliver an order that drags the lawyer into more trouble, so let's talk about Michael's tight spot. During the week of March 31, April 4, Victor will sit down for another meeting with Michael, who's been pitching in with two important missions lately. For starters, Michael is tangled up in Victor's feud with Jack Abbott, so he arranged for the spies that have infiltrated Abbott and plans to score inside details from them for Victor soon. Of course, Michael has also been investigating Aristotle Dumas and will be part of Victor's efforts to draw his old rival out of hiding. I and our spoilers say Victor will eventually deliver some stern instructions to Michael, who'll be tasked with an aggressive power play. This might involve a bold move to get Aristotle's attention, or maybe this will be about using the Abbott spies' intel to Victor's advantage. Victor may be ready to strike back at Jack based on the updates Michael provides. The Abbott angle makes the most sense when we consider Lauren Fenmore Baldwin's upcoming actions. Lauren cares about Jack and won't want Michael stuck in the middle of this growing Abbott-Newman feud. Once Lauren reaches out to Nikki Newman and convinces her to meet up, they'll have a serious discussion at the Jazz Lounge. Lauren will confess that Victor is the reason for this meeting and will ultimately pressure Nikki to betray her hubby. Since Lauren will want to keep Michael from doing anything illegal, dangerous, or just downright immoral, she'll seek Nikki's assistance. It won't be long until Nikki corners Michael at the ranch and pumps him for information. Nikki may cave in when it comes to Lauren's request and try to stop whatever Victor's set in motion, at least when it comes to Michael's role in it. That doesn't mean Nikki's plan will work, but she'll grill Michael and potentially sound the alarm anyway. The young and the restless spoilers say Michael could ruffle a lot of feathers thanks to Victor's schemes, so Nikki may make some troubling predictions once she gets the latest news. The young and the restless scoop for Monday, March 31, reveals Damian Kane will deny Lily Winter's accusation. I and our spoilers tease Claire and Victoria will talk about Jordan. Claire will say not everyone gets a second chance, and Victoria will say she's so happy she doesn't carry all that bitterness. Talk will turn to Victor Newman's disapproval of her relationship with Kyle. Victoria will ask if she's considering breaking up with him. Claire will say of course not. She's not going to let anyone else dictate what she can do. She'll admit that there's one other person who is against their relationship, Summer Newman. Victoria will say she'll promise to do whatever she can to keep Victor and Summer from coming between her and Kyle. Speaking of Kyle, he'll tell his father that being with Claire makes him feel like he can do anything, and that includes standing up to Victor if he tries to interfere. But he's a little concerned Victor could wear her down. However, Jack will say he doubts it will happen. I don't think Victor has any support for his point of view, he'll add. But Kyle will say he knows one person who does. Summer. Jack will ask if she views Claire as a threat. He'll say he ran into Summer the other day, and he got an inkling she thought they should reunite. After Kyle leaves, Jack will spot Victoria, and they'll discuss Kyle and Claire. He'll ask if she could pass a message along to her father. If he causes either of those two any heartbreak, he will answer to me, he'll tell her. And to me, Victoria will say, as Jack walks away. Meanwhile, Damian and Nate Hastings will return to Genoa City, with Amy Lewis in tow. She'll say she was surprised to see the two of them walk into the hospital together. Having you two by my side is the best medication I could hope for, Amy will add. She'll be tired, so Nate will take her upstairs. Then Lily will show up and say she needs to talk to Damian privately and ask him to step out into the hallway. However, he'll say he wants to stay in the apartment for his mother's sake. Whatever you have to say, you can say right here, Damian will tell Lily. So she'll ask him what he and Aristotle Dumas are really up to. It is very clear that you knew about my family and our business long before Nate reached out. But Damian will say she's making a big deal out of something that isn't. Did you know that Nate was your half-brother and Amy was sick before he did? She'll reply, have you been playing us this whole time? Damian will be insulted. I didn't know about Nate until she told me, he'll say. For you to suggest all along that I knew my father wasn't my biological father. Damian will ask Lily who's feeding her all those lies. Nate will come downstairs and ask them what their argument is all about. Damian will say Lily's making something out of nothing. Lily seems to think I knew about all of you before you reached out, he'll tell Nate. But Lily, whoever told you that is the one playing you. Of course, viewers know that person was none other than Victor. However, Lily will say she trusts her source more than she trusts Damian. You sent someone to pretend to be you. She'll say, then she'll storm out. Damian will ask Nate if he feels the same way. Finally, Nate will point to his half-brother's obsession with the Count of Monte Cristo. Then Amy will walk downstairs and she won't be happy. Will someone please tell me what the hell is going on? She'll ask. The Young and the Restless recap for Monday, March 31, reveals that Jack Abbott will send potential heartbreaker Victor Newman a warning while Victoria Newman prepares to stand against her dad. At Nate Hastings' place, Amy Lewis will be feeling weak following her first round of treatment, but she'll be pleased as Nate and Damian Kane joke around about basketball. Now that Amy's doctor has made a prediction about her getting more time, she'll be glad about that as well. Once Nate takes Amy upstairs for a nap, Lily Winters will show up looking for answers from Damien. After Lily demands to know what Damien and Aristotle Dumas are really up to, she'll insist Aristotle gave him info related to her and Devin Winters 3 months ago. It'll leave Lily wondering if Damien knew Nate was his half-brother and that Amy was sick before Nate ever reached out. Damien will get offended over Lily's continued investigation and will argue this is a misunderstanding. Nate will eventually return and wonder what all the fuss is about, so he'll get updates on Lily's accusations. However, Damien will argue that he simply recalled reading about Devin and Lily in a business publication following the merger drama. Once Nate reached out with a job offer, Damien talked to Aristotle and learned more business-related info. Damien will deny that he knew anything about his biological father, Nate's half-brother status, or Amy's illness. Although Lily will trust her source more than Damien, he'll suggest that someone's feeding her lies. After Lily stomps off, Nate will admit he's still suspicious of Damien before the brothers start bickering. Amy will come downstairs once she hears the commotion and will demand the truth. At Society, Claire Newman will open up to Victoria about her concerns regarding Victor standing against her relationship with Kyle Abbott. Although Claire won't be willing to break up with Kyle to protect him, she'll still wish she could convince Victor to get on board. Victoria will acknowledge that Victor is stubborn, but she'll offer a little hope since Victor came around on her own romance with Cole Howard. Claire will feel like she needs a way to melt Victor's heart so she can change his mind about her happiness with Kyle. Although Claire will voice some frustration over Summer Newman too, Victoria will urge her daughter to focus on enjoying her blissful bubble. Victoria will also plan to do whatever she can to protect Claire and Kyle's relationship. At the GCAC, Kyle will speak with Jack about Victor's disapproval and the possibility that he could wear Claire down. There will also be some talk about Summer and whether Victor might use her to cause trouble. However, Jack will offer his son a pep talk before Kyle bumps into Claire at Crimson Lights. Claire will make it clear that they're in charge of their own love lives as she shares a sweet moment with Kyle. Back with Jack, he'll cross paths with Victoria and urge her to pass along a warning to Victor. If his rival dares to cause any heartbreak for Claire and Kyle, Jack will insist Victor will have to answer to him. And to me, Victoria will say to herself once Jack saunters off on Monday's I and R episode. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor will inevitably cause more drama for Kyle and Claire, so don't miss the alarming news to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Adam Newman could utter 4 shocking words, leaving Chelsea Lawson in disbelief. Let's explore the potential developments as Chelsea and Adam embark on their journey towards rekindling their romance. Adam has eagerly anticipated this joyful new phase in their relationship for a long time. With Chelsea finally embracing their shared feelings, Adam is bound to feel elated for the foreseeable future. While he hasn't pushed Chelsea in any way, he does have an impulsive streak that can be challenging to control. As their connection strengthens, it may shift Adam's viewpoint and ignite a desire to advance their romance. Fans of Y and R are aware that Chelsea and Adam have recently reignited their passion in the bedroom, allowing them to bond on a deeper, more intimate level. Naturally, Adam and Chelsea are sharing numerous intimate moments in the comfort of their home as she resides with him at the ranch. There may come a time when Adam considers purchasing an engagement ring and proposing. He might think there's no reason to delay, given that Chelsea is the partner he envisions spending his life with. This could drive Adam to eagerly secure their future together. It's possible that he will orchestrate an elaborate proposal, complete with a significant gesture to persuade Chelsea about the idea of remarriage. One can easily picture Adam kneeling to propose to Chelsea before she feels completely prepared for such a commitment. He has a pattern of rushing into proposals with his past partners, which is an important factor to consider in this situation. Regardless, there may come a moment when Adam expresses his love with the breathtaking question, "Will you marry me?" This could catch Chelsea off guard and prompt her to reassess her feelings. While she envisions a future with Adam, it doesn't necessarily mean she's ready to answer affirmatively about marriage just yet. Chelsea might not respond positively if Adam proposes too quickly. Nonetheless, there's a chance she could eventually relent, especially since she's been expressing some hopeful thoughts about their future together. Connor Newman would undoubtedly be thrilled to witness his parents solidify their reunion, leading to potential wedding plans for Adam and Chelsea in the near future. Upcoming spoilers indicate that there are still several issues for Chelsea and Adam to resolve in their relationship, so stay tuned for updates regarding any engagement developments that may arise. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, March 31, indicate the proverbial poop is about to hit the fan in Genoa City. Someone creates a messy situation, while a usually calm and composed character lashes out, and a friend suggests a sketchy scheme to her gal pal. What can fans expect from Monday's show? Time to dive right in. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, March 31, remind fans that during the week of March 24 to 28, Victor Newman launched a plan to out Aristotle Dumas from hiding. During a meeting, his trusted lawyer, Michael Baldwin, made it clear that after further digging, Aristotle Dumas had no interest in Winters, and his link to Damian Kane was simply a coincidence. Still, during an encounter with Lily Winters shortly after this, the mustache implied that Dumas had sent Damian to Genoa City, and he was likely after the Winters family company. Lily was completely caught off guard when Victor revealed that Aristotle had passed on information to Damian 3 months ago, well before he arrived in GC. Victor is once again using Lily in his master plan, and now it looks like he's created a messy situation that will unfold during Monday's show. Speaking of Lily, she'll lash out at Damian during Monday's show and accuse him of being up to no good. Damian will have returned from Chicago, from visiting his mom, Amy Lewis, at the hospital when Lily lashes out. She'll push for Damian's real story regarding Aristotle Dumas, and it looks like she may also hurl some accusations. How will Damian respond to this? Across town, the Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Sally Spectra may unleash a sketchy scheme of her own. She'll meet up with Chloe Fisher during the Monday, March 31 episode, and she may tell her friend how frustrated she is with Billy Abbott's newfound closeness to his ex, Phyllis Summers. Chloe will encourage Sally to take a page from her old bag of tricks to shoot Phyllis out of Billy's orbit, but will the redhead jump on board with the idea? Sally is a shadow of her former self in this regard, so it seems very unlikely that she'll agree. However, this is the land of soaps where anything is possible, so fans will have to tune in to see if Sally will stoop to this level. What storyline are you most excited to see on Monday's show? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily to see what happens next in Genoa City, and visit SOS regularly for the best Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal there may be another unexpected twist in the Aristotle Dumas story. This secretive billionaire has sparked a lot of intrigue, especially since there are no photos of him available online. It's clear that the name Aristotle Dumas is likely a pseudonym rather than his birth name. The surname Dumas seems to be a tribute to Alexander Dumas, the author of The Count of Monte Cristo. It's possible that Aristotle, or whatever his actual first name is, connected with Damian Kane through their shared passion for literature. This connection might explain why Aristotle chose to involve Damian in his business ventures, allowing him to manage several companies. Victor Newman has a history with Aristotle, as they have previously competed for business opportunities, but Aristotle always seemed to vanish in the end. It's important to highlight that Victor has already confessed he has never met Aristotle in person. Aristotle's absence can be seen as a choice to step back from the competition rather than a true disappearance. This enigmatic figure would make his move and then seemingly withdraw from the unfolding drama. What adds intrigue is the ongoing emphasis on the fact that no one has a clear image of Aristotle, opening up a couple of possibilities, particularly concerning Billy Flynn's anticipated debut. The show seems to be steering fans toward the idea that Aristotle is an older character, someone who could genuinely hold his own against Victor. What if the unexpected revelation is that Aristotle is actually much younger than we think, which could explain his discreet demeanor? If Billy Flynn is portraying Aristotle Dumas, perhaps he crafted this enigmatic persona to ensure he commands respect despite being younger than many rivals. At 39, Flynn is certainly in his prime, yet Aristotle has amassed a fortune and built a vast empire over the years. Alternatively, we could explore another possibility. What if Aristotle has quietly retired or even passed away, entrusting his son with the legacy and the opportunity to carry on his name, and that will be Billy's character. Billy Flynn's debut might just uncover the truth that Aristotle is his father, suggesting that Billy has stepped into his father's shoes. This could clarify the ongoing mystery surrounding Aristotle and the show's anticipation leading up to this significant revelation. Regardless, viewers can expect to see Aristotle's name pop up as a caller on Billy Abbott's phone in the episode airing on March 24. The partnership between Billy and Aristotle could spell trouble for Victor, so keep an eye out for the unfolding drama. Upcoming spoilers hint that Victor will attempt to lure Aristotle out of hiding, but he may be in for an unexpected surprise when that moment arrives. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, March 31, reveal that Victor Newman will make a mess while Lily Winters shows off her fierce side. Chloe Mitchell will also have a sneaky idea for Sally Spectra, so here's what Y and our fans can look forward to. First, let's talk about the trap Victor is setting to draw Aristotle Dumas out. It clearly involves some deception since the story Victor told Lily didn't line up with Michael Baldwin's investigation. Michael insisted that Aristotle had absolutely no interest in Winters and that his connection to Damien seemed like nothing more than a coincidence. However, Victor ultimately made a prediction about using Lily and Devon Winters as part of his Aristotle scheme. Soon after, Victor suggested to Lily that Aristotle sent Damien Kane to get closer to the Winters family because of their company. Lily was stunned to learn that Aristotle supposedly gave Damien info on Lily and Devon 3 months ago. It sounds like Victor wanted to stir up Lily's suspicions and unleash some drama. Victor will definitely achieve that since Lily's about to confront Damien and demand some answers. After Damien returns from the hospital in Chicago, Lily will waste no time in backing him into a corner. Y and R spoilers say Lily will get fierce with Damien and push for the real story when it comes to what Aristotle's game is. Damien may get updates on Lily's accusations and argue that she got some bad intel. After this face-off, Damien may also reach out to Aristotle with news, which may be part of Victor's grand plan as well. Speaking of grand plans, Chloe will feel like Sally needs one if she's going to protect her romance with Billy Abbott. Since Chloe will think Phyllis Summers poses a threat to Sally's happiness, she'll encourage Sally to dip into her old bag of tricks. Sally could revisit her scheming days if she listens to Chloe's guidance about pushing Phyllis out of the picture. Of course, Sally will certainly have some reservations and may need some time to mull over her next move. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Chloe could be a bad influence on Sally, so don't miss what's in store. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal that Joshua Morrow recently shared his thoughts on Nick's future romantic interests and made a prediction. In a conversation with Woman's World, Morrow discussed his character's love life and revealed his expectations for who Nick might be sharing a bed with next. To begin with, Morrow emphasized that his character harbors two great loves, both of which he believes hold equal importance in Nick's heart. The two women who consistently draw Nick back are Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers. While Morrow acknowledged that fans of Sharon and Nick might not be pleased with his perspective, he pointed out that Phyllis is bound to stir up complications for them. Given her connection to Nick through their daughter, Summer Newman, as well as their shared romantic past, Phyllis will always play a significant role in his life. Nevertheless, Morrow values both relationships and recognizes that they tend to resurface time and again. Morrow praised both of his leading ladies. Joshua Morrow had nothing but admiration for his co-stars, Sharon Case and Michelle Stafford, who portray his leading ladies. Recently on the show, Nick appeared to dismiss the notion of rekindling a romance with Sharon, but that doesn't mean their story is finished. In fact, Morrow suggested that when Nick eventually shares another passionate scene on the show, it will be with Sharon. It's been a long time since Nick bared it all, and he's quite known for his interactions with the women of Genoa City, Morrow remarked. When the moment comes, and I'm willing to wager it'll be with Sharon, I'm all in, why not? Morrow recognized that a significant number of viewers appreciate romantic scenes, so he has no qualms about shedding his clothes for them. His primary aim is to convey thrilling narratives, and he implied that he is open to doing so whether he's dressed or not. If Joshua Morrow's insights about Sharon and Nick's intimate moments hold true, it seems likely that Nick might eventually relent regarding their reconciliation. There's a saying one never truly moves on from their first love, and for Nick, that person is Sharon. They were sweethearts in high school and have navigated numerous emotional challenges together. Upcoming spoilers for the CBS soap indicate that Nick and Sharon have plenty to sort out, so keep an eye out for any significant romantic developments on the horizon. Young and the Restless spoilers see Nikki Newman scheming with Lauren Fenmore behind Victor Newman's back, Lily Winters confronting someone, and Chloe Mitchell getting in Sally Spectra's head. So first, let's talk about why Chloe is pressuring Sally in the week ahead. As Friday's episode closes down, we're going to have both Phyllis Summers and Sally quite unhappy with Billy Abbott's decision to work with mystery man Aristotle Dumas. Billy tried to get Phyllis to see reason. He told her Dumas offered him a way to get Chancellor away from the Newmans, and Billy said he just couldn't say no. But then, when he tried to explain it all to Phyllis, she just got increasingly upset. And part of it is she took Billy at his word when he said he was going to put revenge on Victor behind him, that he had moved past it, he wasn't going to engage in those games. But he was fibbing to Phyllis and also to Sally, to both of them. Then Billy got Phyllis really excited to build something new at Abbott Communications with him. So this was going to be this ground-up, collaboration project. Billy thought it would be a fresh start for him and for Phyllis. And then she insisted that he bring in Daniel Romalotti. So this is what she was looking forward to. But now, Phyllis thinks there's no fresh start coming because Billy's the same old Victor-fixated guy who can't let go of revenge games. And that's the last thing that she needs because Phyllis is in bad shape. She's got mental health issues, she's got PTSD, all that. Despite being upset at Billy, she's going to continue leaning into him, though, because her struggles are going to continue. So as the week ends, Sally is also chewing Billy out for business dealings. Phyllis and Sally both think that his involvement with Dumas is dodgy. And Billy, of course, is telling Phyllis a good bit of the truth, Sally not too much of the truth. But they both think that Billy shouldn't be involved with this guy on Young and the Restless. So there's an important shift next week. Young and the Restless spoilers say Sally's best friend, Chloe Mitchell, tells Sally that she should take a page out of her devious playbook. Chloe suggests that Sally should find a way to get Phyllis out of Billy's orbit for good. So I wonder if Chloe is talking about when Sally conspired to get Summer Newman sent to Italy back in the day when she came back to town. So it definitely seems like Chloe has recognized that if Phyllis is a significant problem for her bestie Sally and her relationship. You know, Chloe is actually a very accurate and trustworthy voice of reason where Billy is concerned. If you know you're young and the Restless history, don't forget it's been a minute, but Chloe and Billy had a significant relationship years ago. The death of their daughter Delia Abbott kind of ripped them apart. But yeah, Chloe knows what she's talking about when it comes to him. And she knows all about Billy and Phyllis and Billy with Phyllis. So I do think Phyllis is just part of the problem, though this Dumas guy is going to be the real trouble. Alright, before we talk about Nikki going behind Victor's back, let's talk about the Dumas threat creeping closer to the Winters family also. Already, Lily, Devin Hamilton, and Nate Hastings wonder why Damian Kane claimed to be running or owning these companies that are actually property of Dumas. We now know that Victor and Dumas have been rivals for many years, and next week's YNR spoilers have Lily just going off on Damian. So we're going to see Lily telling Damian she wants to know what the heck he and his boss Dumas are really up to. She is on fire about it, but the question is this something more that Lily has found out, or is this just her acting on information that Victor gave her? Because the mustache told Lily something selectively, he was not transparent with her. Victor didn't give Lily the whole truth, far from it. And there's no doubt that Victor has an agenda where Dumas is concerned. They are rivals, and Victor wants the other man to go down in flames. And he's got no issue weaponizing the Winters to attack Damian, hoping it'll destabilize Dumas. So when Lily comes in hot at him, Damian kind of looks like he's in shock. However, I would also be surprised if he gives Lily the answers that she's looking for. There is a reason that Damian is keeping things secret. It could be his agenda, or it could be about his boss's big plans, the mysterious Duma. Alright, now let's talk about why Lauren wants Nikki to go behind Victor's back. So by the end of this week, Nikki's celebrating with the other Newmans. They are all toasting Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson Newman's reunion. That's Nikki and Victor and Nick Newman and Victoria Newman. All of them are toasting them. Nikki's not a big fan of Adam's, but she has to admit he seems like he's straightening up and flying right and doing better. Then Nikki's celebration is cut a little short because her best friend Lauren Fenmore summons Nikki to come see her. I think they're over the GAC. The ladies are out to lunch, and Lauren looks distraught when Nikki joins her next week. Should be probably Monday. So we're going to see in the Young and the Restless spoilers for the week ahead that Lauren wants to talk to Nikki about Victor. And Lauren says Victor is why that, she urgently needed Nikki there, which of course she's surprised because what's the overlap, right? So Lauren tells Nikki she needs her to betray her husband Victor. And I do suspect that this is about Michael Baldwin being roped into one of Victor's schemes to destroy Jack Abbott. First of all, Lauren does not want to see their good friend Jack destroyed, and she knows this is Victor being awful for no reason. Second, Lauren doesn't want Michael dragged into these vendetta games, but Victor is pushing him hard. And Michael has an affection for the guy, so he's letting it happen. So Lauren may ask Nikki to try and dissuade Victor from revenge, or we may find out from Lauren that Michael's dragging his feet about those spies. Lauren may tell her that Michael's in a no-win position, and she needs Nikki to help him out of this jam, kind of help him cover for the fact that they really don't want the Jebby spies bringing back any good intel. Lauren doesn't want Jack targeted. And we all know Victor's only being salty because Jack saved Nikki's life. And right now, nobody else in the Newman family wants Jack targeted. Literally not one other person, but Victor's out of control. So I suspect Lauren wants Nikki to shut down her hubby or betray Victor so they can keep him chasing his tail. Keep him in the dark so that no real Jabby sabotage activities happen. The Young and the Restless spoilers. In the quiet pre-dawn hours of Genoa City, a palpable tension gripped the air, a tension born not only of hidden betrayals and long-buried secrets, but also of desperate questions about life, loyalty, and the very nature of survival. At the heart of this storm was Lily, whose burning desire to unmask the true identity and motives of Damien had grown into an obsession. Every whispered rumor, furtive glance, and cryptic conversation had led her here, to a crossroads where the truth could no longer remain hidden. Lily's mind raced with a single urgent question: who is Damien really, and why has he come to Genoa with such a cryptic purpose? Her thoughts were interwoven with memories of the countless times she had witnessed Damien's inscrutable demeanor, a man who moved like a shadow through the corridors of power, leaving behind only fragments of whispered confessions and elusive alibis. Determined to uncover the truth, she resolved that tonight would be the night she would confront him. Meanwhile, Nate was locked in his own desperate battle. Every waking moment was devoted to prolonging the life of Amy, whose battle with cancer had become the axis around which his world spun. Nate's heart ached with the weight of responsibility and the fear of losing the one person who had always been his guiding light. Amy, fragile and delicate, had been under the sway of Damien and the mysterious Aristotle from the very beginning. Her every decision, every breath, was dictated by their commands. For years, she had followed their instructions without question, even deceiving Nate in a bid to maintain the facade of strength and stability. But as Nate watched her struggle with the relentless ravages of her illness, and his own suffering deepened, he began to question the wisdom of a path paved by deceit. In the dim light of a secluded corner in a quiet cafe, Lily finally cornered Damien. Her eyes, burning with determination and hurt, locked onto his as she demanded answers. "Damien," she began, her voice trembling between anger and despair, "I need to know who you truly are. What is your purpose in coming to Genoa City? What are you hiding from us?" Damien's face remained unreadable, his expression a carefully maintained mask of indifference. After a long, uncomfortable pause, he finally replied in a low, measured tone, "I haven't done anything wrong, Lily. I'm forced to remain silent." His words, simple and stark, only deepened the enigma that surrounded him. Not satisfied with his cryptic response, Lily's frustration bubbled over. "You're not giving me any answers," she accused, her tone growing harsher. "I know there are secrets about Amy, about your involvement with Aristotle, and why you've been pulling her strings. I demand that you confess everything." The confrontation escalated quickly. Soon, Nate joined them, his face etched with both exhaustion and worry. "Lily, please," he pleaded. "We need to understand what's really happening. I'm trying to save Amy, but I can't do that if I'm left in the dark about who's really controlling her fate." His voice wavered with the pain of watching Amy suffer and the gnawing fear that their lives were being manipulated by unseen forces. Under the relentless pressure of their combined confrontation, Damien's resolve began to crumble. His eyes darted nervously, and finally, in a hushed confession, he relented. "All right, I'll tell you everything." His voice was laced with resignation as he began to unravel the tangled web of secrets. "This is all part of Aristotle's plan. Amy, she's just a pawn, a victim. Aristotle has been controlling her, dictating her every move. If she doesn't follow his instructions, if she deviates even slightly, the consequence is death." Nate's face fell as the grim reality of Damien's words sank in. Every effort he had made to save Amy, every sleepless night, every desperate measure to prolong her life, now seemed entangled in a sinister design. "So, you're saying that everything I've done for Amy's sake was manipulated by Aristotle?" Nate's voice cracked with the raw intensity of betrayal and despair. That her suffering, her obedience, all stem from a threat over her life. Damien's confession continued, his tone bitter and pained. "Yes, Nate. Aristotle is not just any mastermind. He's the one pulling the strings. Amy trusted me and followed his orders because she believed it would keep her safe. I was left with no choice. I had to be silent. I had to make sure she did what he said, or else. His admission was both an apology and a declaration of inevitability, a plan that had been meticulously orchestrated long before any of them realized the extent of the deception. Lily, processing the weight of Damien's confession, felt a chill run down her spine. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly aligning. Amy's unwavering obedience, the shadowy influence of Aristotle, and the orchestrated manipulation that had kept her under control. And who exactly is Aristotle? She demanded, her voice barely above a whisper, yet filled with an urgency that could not be ignored. Why are you targeting Nate? Why does he matter so much to your plans? Damien hesitated, his eyes reflecting a storm of conflicting emotions, regret, resignation, and perhaps a hint of defiance. I can only tell you that Aristotle's reach is vast. He sees potential in you, Nate, and in Amy. You both represent something he wants to control, something that can be exploited for his benefit in the power struggles within Winters Incorporated. That's why I was ordered to ensure Amy's compliance, because her life depended on it. His words painted a picture of a cold, calculating force, Aristotle, a man who would stop at nothing to manipulate those around him and secure his own ambitions. Hearing these revelations, Nate's heart pounded with a mix of fear and determination. I need to know who Aristotle really is, he said, his voice resolute despite the tremor of worry that ran through it. Why is he targeting me? Why does he care about what happens to Amy? And what does he stand to gain from all of this? His questions hung heavy in the air, charged with the urgency of a man on the brink of losing everything he held dear. The confession that had been forced out of Damien was not just a revelation of past events. It was a turning point. Nate's concern for Amy had always been the guiding force behind his actions. And now, faced with the truth of her manipulation and the sinister plans of Aristotle, his resolve hardened. He vowed that no matter the cost, he would unearth every hidden detail about this mysterious puppeteer. He would discover the true identity of Aristotle and expose his motives, even if it meant risking everything. In that dim, charged moment, as the trio stood in the quiet aftermath of their revelations, the lines between victim and villain blurred. Amy, whose fate had been dictated by an unseen hand, emerged as the tragic centerpiece of a grand scheme, a pawn in a high-stakes game of power and control. And Nate, grappling with the crushing burden of betrayal, understood that his fight was only just beginning. Thus, in the shadowed corners of Genoa City, the seeds of a deeper, more dangerous mystery were sown. The battle for truth had just begun, and the quest to expose the real face of Aristotle would leave no stone unturned.